Welcome to Online Learning with me, Mom Jen, and this is a video on our lecture series in General Physics. Our topic for this video is about measurements. At the end of this video, you should be able to solve measurement problems involving conversion of units and expression of measurements in scientific notation, differentiate accuracy from precision, differentiate random errors from systematic errors, and estimate errors from multiple measurements of a physical quantity using variance. Now let's define or recap what are units and physical quantities. Physical quantity is a property of a material or a system that can be quantified by measurement. Physical quantities have numerical magnitude or size and a unit. We use numbers to describe a physical phenomenon quantitatively. Examples of these are mass, time, length, speed, force, and others. Let's have the nature of physical quantities. Physical quantities can be fundamental, meaning they are quantities that exist by themselves. They are unique and do not depend on other quantities. Examples of these are mass, time, length, and temperature. Physical quantities can also be derived. So these are quantities that are dependent on other quantities and are calculated or computed from two or more measurements. Examples of these are area, which is dependent on length, volume, which is dependent on mass, density, which is dependent on mass and volume, and speed, which is dependent on length and time. Physical quantities can also be scalar or vector. When we talk about scalar quantities, these are quantities with magnitude only. Examples of these are mass, distance, speed, and energy. Vector quantities, on the other hand, are quantities with magnitude and direction. Examples of these are velocity, acceleration, and force. Looking at the examples, we have speed, which is a scalar quantity, but if we add direction, it becomes velocity. To standardize measurements worldwide, we follow the SI or the System International, the universal system used by the scientific community. This promotes clarity and consistency in measurements. In this table, we have symbols for different SI units for the seven fundamental quantities. We have S as a symbol for seconds, which is used to quantify time. We also have M for meter, used to measure length, kg for kilogram, used to measure mass, A for ampere, to measure electric current, K for Kelvin, to measure temperature, mol for mole, to measure the amount of substance, and CD for candela, to measure luminous intensity. Now, here are some unit prefixes and scientific notation used in physics and mathematics. There's no need for you to memorize all of this, but I'm sure you're familiar with some of these prefixes already. We commonly use mega, kilo, hecto, deca, deci, centi, and milli, and sometimes we use micro and nano. Looking at your multipliers, if the exponent is positive, just move the decimal place to the right to attain its base form. If the exponent is negative, just move the decimal place to the left to attain its base form. Now, in mathematics and in physics, it is important that you are familiar with unit conversions. Why is there a need for unit conversion? When units are not consistent, we should convert them to achieve the appropriate ones needed. It is also important to have a clear comparison and contrast of values and to avoid confusion in measurements. Now, there are different types of unit conversion. First, we have the straightforward linear conversion, wherein we have the changing of measurement from one unit to another within the same dimension using a fixed conversion factor. Shown in this slide are different conversion factors such as miles, So for every 1 mile, you have 1,609 meters. For 1 hour, you have 60 minutes. 1 minute, you have 60 seconds. 1 kilogram, you have 1,000 grams. 1 inch, you have 2.54 centimeters. And for 1 gallon, you have 3.785 liters. Next type of unit conversion is the chain conversion. So unit conversion, specifically this type, is a purpose and the use of dimensional analysis. Example, I have 15 miles per hour and I want to express this in meters per second. So how do we do the chain conversion? So first, we know or we determine now our conversion units or conversion factors. So I have here the following. Then we start with the given and write these conversion factors in fractions or in ratio and in a chain-like manner. So this is the solution for the chain conversion. Again, I started with a given, which is 15 miles per hour. And then I have now the first conversion factor, which is 1,609 meters over 1 mile. Then I have here the 1 hour per 60 minutes, and then I have 1 minute per 60 seconds. Now, we could actually cancel out the same or similar units. So 15 miles, I can now cancel out my miles here. And then I could also cancel out the hour, then the minutes, and now I am left with the necessary units, which are meters and seconds. So if you compute this directly in your calculator, you would have the answer 6.704 meters per second. Now, the next type of conversion is power conversion. This is simply converting units that are raised to a power. So this is also converting units involving exponents. In my example, I have 100 meters squared and I am looking for its equivalent in centimeters squared. So to solve this, I am going to square now the entire value or the entire conversion unit to arrive at 1 times 10 raised to the 6th power centimeters squared. Now, here are some of the conversion factors that you may use. You may pause the video to copy them, or you could simply search them in the internet. So for length and distance, we have the following. For mass and weight, for volume, for heat, energy, and power, this one are for pressure, and then we have this for time. Let's try solving this problem. Chase is a very skilled hunter. In a sunny afternoon while hunting, he saw a cheetah that can reach a speed of 20 meters per second. Express the speed of the cheetah in kilometers per hour. In this case, we can use the following conversion factors to arrive at the answer in kilometers per hour. Now, the best type of conversion we can use here is a chain conversion. Doing this, let's write 20 meters per second and then the conversion factors to arrive at this answer. Again, we write now these conversion factors as fractions here, and then we could cancel out the units. So 20 meters can be canceled out since I have now 1 kilometer and 1,000 meters. The seconds now would be canceled as I have 60 seconds per 1 minute, and I can cancel out the minute because I have 60 minutes per 1 hour. The available units left would be kilometers and hours. Our final answer should be 72 kilometers per hour. Now let's have the different rules in determining significant figures. So first rule, all non-zero digits are significant. So in our example, I have here for 12,345, there are 5 significant figures. Next, we have zeros in between non-zeros are significant. So in my example of 1004, I have 4 significant figures. Next rule, zeros before non-zeros are not significant. Therefore, in this example, I only have 5. Starting from 3, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 significant figures. Next rule, for trailing zeros after the decimal point, they're all considered significant. So since I have a decimal point here, I would still count these 2 zeros before the decimal and then these 2 as significant figures. Now, without a decimal point, trailing zeros may or may not be significant. In operations, in addition and subtraction, we actually follow now the least decimal place as a limiting term. So in this example, I have here different values with different decimal places, and my limiting term now would be 53.6 because it only has one decimal place. My final answer should be rounded off to one decimal place. In multiplication or division, you are going to follow now the least number of significant figures. So in this example, my first number has 5 significant figures comparing now to the second number which has 4 significant figures. The final answer should be expressed or rounded off to 4 significant figures. Last topic for this video, we have the scientific notation. It is a method for expressing and working with very large or very small numbers. So let's recall the parts of a scientific notation. So first, we have the coefficient. So it must be it is a number greater than or equal to 1 and less than 10. We have the base, which is 10, and we have the exponent, which would show you the number of decimal places that the decimal needs to be moved to change the number to standard notation. Now, can you try expressing the following numbers from scientific notation to standard notation? Pause the video to answer these. Do you have any questions? Feel free to place them in our comment box. That's all for this video.